There was another woman taking the stand on court TV today, but in a different city, in a different courtroom in Nashville. This is the case against Michael Mosley. He is accused of stabbing 3 people, killing 2 people in a barroom fight, somehow focused around a woman that Michael Mosley was, according to the testimony that I heard, was hitting on that night, who was with another group. There's video of everything that happened, but there was something that happened today. Another woman who took the stand who's actually a friend of the defendant, and I saw her on the stand today. She was shaking. She didn't want to be in that courtroom testifying against her friend, but she did because she was subpoenaed, and she had to get up there and tell the truth and talk about why the defendant was inside that bar that night.
Do you remember making a statement about Poppy and the reason why you went to Dogwood Bar?
Yeah, I mean,
what did you say?
Said that there would be potential buyers. If that's what you're referring to, yes, I said that.
Okay, potential buyers for the drugs he was trying to sell.
Yes.
When you got to Dogwood Bar, did you, Michael Mosley, Daniel, and Poppy go into the bar?
Yes.
What did you do when you got into the bar?
We went and ordered a drink.
Okay. And did y'all mingle around and talk to people who were there?
Yes.
Did you see anybody who was in your group participate in trying to sell drugs?
I seen them with an individual. I'm assuming that may have had something to do with it, but I don't know exactly.
You have a response? Your Honor, I can direct Ms. Harper to answer with what she saw.
Okay. Okay.
Can you tell the jury what you saw that would be that would be consistent with somebody who was selling drugs?
No foundation that she understands the basics of selling drugs, Your Honor.
Yeah, you may want to also stand in objection, rephrase the question.
Well, can you just tell the jury what you saw?
I just saw them mingling with people.
What are the basics of selling drugs, by the way? All right, let's bring in Court TV legal correspondent Julie Janae. She's live in Nashville, Tennessee tonight. Julia, great to see you. One thing I noticed about, and her name is J.C. Harper, who was on the witness stand there, she was shaking. She was, now, do we, and I don't know the way the jury's going to read this, but there's different ways you could take it. She's shaking because she's got to testify against this guy accused of murder, or she's just generally nervous, or there's something else going on. What can you tell us about J.C. Harper and her testimony today?
Well, we know she was certainly nervous. I had the chance to talk to her after she testified. She said that she just wanted to get up there and tell the truth. And she was someone who not only was there with her friend inside of that bar room, but she was also in the thick of the fight. She was in the middle of it, saying that she was just trying to keep these 2 different groups away from each other. She felt responsible for Michael Mosley. She said she was always looking out for him because she was actually friends first with his brother who was killed years ago. So she wanted to keep him on the right path. There they are on surveillance video play fighting. She said that was them playing around like they always did and showed that they were just there to have a good time. That video is actually what was released to the public in 2019 to help them find the suspect when they didn't know where he was. But here's a listen to some of our interview with her today that the defense may use to prove their self-defense case even if the defendant doesn't take the stand.
It was scary, I mean, for sure, because, I mean, I had dropped my wallet, so I had, of course, leaned down to get it, and then when I looked up, I seen my friend surrounded by a bunch of giants, is what they looked like to him, compared to him. I mean, and I just tried my best to defuse the situation. I feel like he felt he needed to defend himself. I mean, he had quite a few much bigger people on him, and I can't tell you what made him choose what he chose, but I guess that's for him to say.
I know after you testified, there was a moment, a tender moment,
outside in the hallway here that came from an unlikely source, the father of one of the stabbing victims, Clay Beathard's dad. What did he say to you, and what did it mean to you when you heard it?
He just thanked me for showing up today in court and telling the truth and the whole truth about everything I knew and trying to diffuse the situation at hand that night. And then he, of course, told me if there ever was a time that I talked to Michael again, which of course there will be, that he wanted me to relay a message to him that, you know, he's forgiven him and that he hopes he finds God and finds a new direction, whether it be on the street or in prison.
And J.C. Harper there, she said she wants people to know that Mosley's not a monster and that he's been going through a lot since the death of his brother many years back. The prosecution today, Vinny, said they want a jury instruction that's on self-defense, but they wanted crafted and detailed based on her testimony, because at this point, that's what has been put forth by the defense. And the defense says they doubt they're going to put Mosley on the stand.
Wow. One more quick question. Was there any significance to prosecutors trying to establish that the defendant was in there buying and selling drugs in the bar?
There's significance to it that the prosecution wants to be able to tell this jury that he was engaged in unlawful activity. And under the Tennessee statute, if you are engaged in unlawful activity, then you don't get to stand your ground when you're the primary aggressor. You have the duty to try and retreat, and they've been drawing out that there may have been opportunities for Mosley to retreat. So that's why they really wanted to get out that possible drug transaction testimony through Harper. She told me it really wasn't something that she saw. She thinks it was something that she was persuaded into telling authorities early on and then had to corroborate it today in court.
Julia Janae in Nashville, thank you so much. Trial continuing down there. Let's bring back in our think tank. This is a fascinating turn in everything, Nima. Prosecutors trying to establish that Mosley's in there selling drugs, which has nothing to do with the fight and the stabbing, but trying to use that to make it less viable of a defense that it was self-defense by Mosley. Number one, do you think that's fair to bring in something that's unrelated to what the fight was about to use to diffuse the self-defense claim?
It's fair if the judge allows it in, Vinny, and the judge has allowed it in. So kudos to the prosecution for dirtying up Mosley even more. Look, let's be real. Here's someone who cannot testify. He's already doing 12 years for a previous assault. He's got a rap sheet a mile long. I know the
Well, can we talk about that assault real quick? I just want to remind people what that assault was. It was all on video also. It was inside a Walmart. He attacked a woman. But the woman had been accused of murdering his brother. It's really a layered, complicated life that Mosley's been living. But again, no excuse for stabbing 3 people and killing 2. Go ahead, Nima, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I don't expect him to testify in this case. I mean, the defense is going to be based on the surveillance video, and there's so much of it from different angles. Even though Barrisone, the case we talked about previously, he's going to take the stand. Defendants in self-defense cases typically do. I don't expect Mosley to do so. So what the prosecution needs to do is to negate that self-defense argument through all the witnesses. And one of the key themes here is, first, he brought a knife to a fist fight. And second, he had many opportunities to flee. And when did he flee? After he stabbed and killed 2 people and injured a 3rd and was at large for 4 days. So very different conduct than the other self-defense cases that we've been talking about, Vinny.
Yeah, Kirk, let me ask you about this scenario, right? And we heard it from Julia's interview from J.C. Harper, and the jury's seen the video, that he is surrounded by 3 guys who are bigger than he is. He's not a big guy. He's a small guy. Gets into a lot of fights, though, apparently. I've seen him on video fight at least twice now. Is that enough? If he starts the physical confrontation, are you allowed to use a physical confrontation if 3 guys are around you? Or can you go, straight to fighting at that moment and start the physical confrontation? Or do you have to wait for someone to actually physically attack you to claim self-defense? I think this is what the jury's going to struggle with.
Well, yeah, I do think it's what the jury might struggle with, but keep in mind now, he's just standing there against taller people. That's not a license to start defending yourself because there's taller people around you. So that in and of itself, if they were doing something that was threatening, what have you, maybe. But we don't have any evidence of that. Even his friend, even the interview with Julia, she talked about he was surrounded by giants. Okay, that's great, but that doesn't give him the right to react the way he did. So I don't see this self-defense claim really going anywhere. We can see the videos. He's got a friend testifying against him, and he really, for the reasons Nima stated in the videos we're showing right now, can't testify in his own defense. So the way I see this trial, it's what I've said before. It's one of these long-form guilty pleas, Vinny, that ultimately is going to wind up in a guilty verdict.
You know, what's interesting, and I think we need to, I mean, we always have to reveal the information. You're talking about surrounded by giants. I mean, Kirk Nurmi, how tall are you?
I'm about 6'4", Vinny. But
yeah,
that
exactly, exactly. So
and
take it with a grain of salt, folks, when he's talking about being surrounded by big guys, right?
Right. You know, and I was watching the Reeves trial, and I thought, geez, that defense gives me the idea that I can be shot at a movie theater because I'm 6'4". So, you know, but it worked.
It worked in that case. Eklund Mercy, your thoughts about the self-defense here. Everything's on video for the jury, but they're silent movies. So you need the testimony to get more context into what is being said in the moment.
I honestly think it's going to be all the way down to closings, because the attorney that can really, like, they have to teach a class in this closing. You're going to have to teach criminal law 101, criminal procedure 101 in this closing, because it's that detailed, it's that nuanced. And you have to go to every single video and you essentially have to teach that class. And the one that is the most clear, the most eloquent, that's who's going to win. Unfortunately, a case like this always boils down to the last thing that they heard.
All right, we shall see. All right, they're staying with us. Eklund Mercy, Nima Rahmani, Kirk Nurmi. When we come back, we've got a lot more to get to. Still ahead.